I come from Central America, where my two brothers and I ate ants to survive. I got to the United States. I was 16 years old, homeless in the streets of Las Vegas. And when the Air Force gave me an opportunity, I was trying to literally save my life. The ROA was able to take the time to look at my specific needs, my specific future in the military, and take care of me throughout my journey. If you would have seen me running in mud in Central America, you would have not predicted that my ID card was going to open the door of the Pentagon.
Well, hello everyone and welcome. This is such an incredible day, and if you're here with us live, I'm so grateful that you've decided to join us for something very, very special, something we've never done before, and something I don't even think anyone in the personal development industry has ever done before. But we have something so special planned for you, and as you could see from that video, the incredible woman that I'm going to be bringing up here in just a moment, and what she's been through and where she is today. You're going to meet her and you're going to hear a lot about her story and where we're going at the Napoleon Hill Institute. So my name is Cleona O'Hara. I am the CEO of the Napoleon Hill Institute. And deep down, truly, I am a mom. I have 3 children. I also come from Ireland, so I'm an immigrant woman. I own the company as well, Napoleon Hill Institute. So not only am I an immigrant and I'm a woman, but I'm also a leader, and I have big plans for the personal development industry. I want to create a big change. And when I met Erica, who you'll meet, I knew that we were going to disrupt the industry, and I knew that we were going to help a lot of people. And so I just want to tell you my idea. First of all, once again, I want to say thank you for joining us today. So for our brave military service members, yesterday was a big day. It was Memorial Day weekend. And so I want to thank you from my heart for your service. Thank you for the ultimate sacrifice. And I am so inspired by our military service members that they would give the ultimate sacrifice in their life. And so that's why I had this idea when we started attracting coaches who were former military. I said, wait a minute, what about this population? What about this population of military people that are transitioning from this organized life they have as military members to civilian life? What about the tools? What about the transition? And so I remember coaching some of our clients who were ex-military. And what I found was very interesting. Some of the very senior leaders, officers in different branches of the military, and they were lacking in confidence, some of them. And then I realized, my God, their whole life has changed. Their whole identity was their ranking in the military. And now they're in the civilian world, and now they're building a new life. What is their new identity? And that's when I realized this is a population that we at the Napoleon Hill Institute must serve. And sure enough, of course, and I always say, God brings to us the right people. We had started attracting brave leaders who you're going to meet this week. And so this week, we are here to support all of you as you embark on one of the most significant transitions in your life, from military to the civilian life. And first and foremost, let me express my deep gratitude to all of you, the dedication and the resilience that you've demonstrated in serving our country is truly, in my opinion, the ultimate sacrifice. And so you've faced challenges that many of us can only imagine. And I'm sure you have stories that you haven't told anyone. And your contribution to our nation's safety and freedom are so respected and so valued. So from my heart and all of us at the Napoleon Hill Institute, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your service. So I understand transitioning from military life to civilian world is a journey. It comes with its own unique set of challenges and opportunities. But it's time for change. It's time for change. And it can also be one of the great personal growth journeys that you'll ever have in your life when you understand there are actually principles that you can follow to help you on this journey. And so that's why we're here. So today, I have an incredible speaker lined up. And not only is she a speaker, but when I met her and I heard her story, I knew, and I'm very spiritual and I don't hide that, I knew she needs to be the leader. She needs to be the leader of the world's first military division. And so now at the Napoleon Hill Institute, we have the world's first military division. And we're going to work with you and anyone out there, our service members that are transitioning, or your spouses, your loved ones, anyone that's been affected that needs support in this transition. We are here for you. And so today, through this broadcast this week, we're going to be going live for 3 days. I encourage all of you to ask questions, get in touch, take notes. If there's any assignments, do the assignments. We're here to grow together and we're here to help you. We're doing this for you. And so once again, thank you from my heart for your service. I'm so honored that we have you here today with us. And now I'd like to get started by introducing you to the president of the Napoleon Hill Institute's military division, Erica Kelly. She was the 17th Command Chief Master Sergeant for the Air Force Reserve and the Command and Senior Enlisted Advisor to the Chief of the Air Force Reserve. Erica has represented the highest executive level of leadership in the United States military. And so I'd like to call you to the stage, Erica. I'm so grateful to be on this journey with you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Cleona. Good morning to you and all.
Thank you, Erica. And forgive me because I was never in the military. And so if I use the wrong terminology, you correct me so I can learn. But you know how I feel since I've met you and I've heard your story. I feel like it's time that we reach out to that population that no one's talking about. No one's really, there are people supporting them, of course, but what about personal development? How has it changed your life, Erica, and how has it helped you transition into civilian life?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that the transition into looking at myself and taking care of me and looking at self-development and self-growth has helped me in a way where I can look at the military and smile because it was part of my life, not my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I'm making sense. Sometimes when we transition out of the military and we do a good job, then that's amazing. But sometimes when there's little struggles along the way, well, we do, if we don't have the maturity, if we don't have the mindset, we keep looking back.
Mm-hmm.
We keep looking back at what we had, and what we present today, what we'll present for the next 3 days, is a way of looking forward and a way of appreciating where we come from, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. That's what I discovered when I was coaching some former military officers.
Mm-hmm.
And it was shocking for me that they were now lacking in confidence and self-image. And it was because, from my experience, they were all of your, not you, but in general, when someone is at that level, their self-worth, their self-identity is locked up with their ranking and their uniform and where they grew in the military. And so when that goes away, then what? Who am I? Where am I going? What do I do now? What rank am I now? And so it's almost a rebuilding of a sort of a new identity. It's like rebuilding a new identity completely. And I'll just say it and be honest, some of the clients that we have that were in the military, they're my favorite. Do you know why?
Thank you.
Well, I love the Danish too because they're so happy. But the reason why I love the military clients is because they're disciplined, they're coachable, and they live with a certain set of principles already, very similar to what we teach. So
Yes.
they do very well very quickly with this material. That's what I've noticed.
No, absolutely. So I think it's just a nice fit, a nice bridge to continue on individual, right? We're all individuals. We went into the military for different reasons. And when we transition out of the military, even though we're using this word, it's still an individual journey.
Yes.
It's still an individual journey. So it's just, I'm ready to jump into the principle of desire today and serve the folks that are here and the folks that are going to watch the recording.
I love it. I love it. Well, everyone, you're in for an incredible treat this week. You are in great hands with this amazing leader. And I'm so honored I get to serve with all of you. And I will see you all soon. Take it away, Erica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cleona. Thank you for your words and for your support. I do also want to acknowledge the president of the Napoleon Hill Institute, that is Dr. Joe Vitale. He is pretty amazing. If you're familiar with the picture, or the movie, The Secret, he is in The Secret. So he's a very powerful, influential individual. This, everyone, is the first of 3-hour sessions. We are going to focus on taking care of your military transition. We have retired Command Chief Lefford Fate as a co-host, and he is, I'm telling you right now, he is an incredible servant leader who always goes the extra mile. Can we have the PowerPoint up, please? There we go. Next. Now, when I transitioned out of the Air Force, I was so busy with work that I did not take care of many things, personal things. I did not fully understand the implications. Let me say that again. I did not fully understand the implications of placing my family and myself in a secondary role. After all, a core value of the Air Force is service before self. So that military programming dictated that I needed to take care of mission first. And guess what? I did. And the closer the day got, the more difficult it became to get those things done. So first lesson of today is take care of you. Take care of you first, and then everything else will fall into place. I promise you. I knew it was important to seek support, resources, and guidance. I knew that. But did I do it? No. I knew building a strong network of fellow veterans, mentors, and finding supporting groups would also help me. But did I do it? I didn't. See, the challenges that you see on the slide hit me at different times. And sometimes when I wasn't careful, they all will hit me simultaneously. So before we move on to the next slide, let me ask you this. What is your top challenge? Is it on the slide? Which one is it? And if it's not on the slide, what is your top challenge? Next, please. The purpose of our presentation today is to share Napoleon Hill principles to the military community, add value to you and your family, provide strategies for embracing a growth mindset, recognize and let go of all paradigms, and also how to build a supportive community. Next. I am your hostess. For the 3 sessions, I am the military division leader for the Napoleon Hill. And let me just kind of like straighten up a little and say that I feel joy. I feel joy about being here and about spending this time with you. Next. Today we'll cover setting the stage of our reality, breaking free from all paradigms, nurturing a growth mindset, building a community of support, embracing the journey and moving forward, and also continuing to support and find resources. Okay. Can we go back to the next one? Yes. Next, the last one, please. Can we go back to the slide that says desire? One more. There we go. All those things that you see on this slide, all of that will be to cover the principle of desire, the starting point of all achievement. Desire is the trait that distinguishes almost all successful people from unsuccessful ones. It is a state of mind always looking to find success. Desire should not be mistaken for hope. A desire should not be mistaken for a wish. Desire is definite, dominant, and supported by belief. When we look at belief, we can say that it's the faith that we need to attain what we desire. Next. Now, what makes people enter, stay, and assimilate to the military mission? For me, I was 21 years old in a toxic, very violent relationship. At times, I had broken bones. Most of the time, I had bruises. And I remember this specific day. I'm getting hit pretty hard. My clothes is being torn. And I don't know about you, and if you ever have been in a situation where is desperation, instinct, but that day, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I did it, but I got out and I found myself running down an alleyway, holding on to whatever I had on. And I realized that the apartment complexes, people were opening their windows, moving their drapes, looking down at me running as my husband was chasing me down. And just like that, I got stopped by a patrol car. And this officer, I'm 21, this officer comes out, takes his jacket off, puts it on me, holds on to the jacket, and pulls me in like a little kid, pulls me in. And he says, Erica, if you don't do something to save your life, we're going to find your dead body in the desert. I lived in Las Vegas at the time. He lets go of me. A little while, I go back to my abuser. That's the cycle. But his words never left me. If you don't do something. And I started thinking, if I don't do something, I have a choice. I can desire a different life than this for me. And again, if you know my story, right, of abuse and violence and walking to the United States and transitioning to a new culture and a new language and not having good role models. Can you see how I ended up in that marriage? But that officer put a seed, and that's all I needed. And I kept thinking and thinking and thinking. And it took a little while for that seed to have its strength. And at 22, I went into the Air Force. Every one of us has a different journey of why we went into the military. Why did I stay? Discipline, margins, safety. The Air Force gave me a family. So for me, transitioning after 32 years of service was not easy. Transition is a process of preparation. And I really didn't do a good job at it. That's why I'm here. That's why we are here. So let me just take a quiet, deep breath. Maybe you can do it with me, right? Just in, hold for a second, and out. And let me then introduce you to my friend, my mentor, and my Air Force brother, Lefford Fate. Lefford is an incredible leader. He is a veteran with nearly 31 years of military service. He is a master coach with the Napoleon Hill Institute. He and I have been helping transitioning military members for years. He is a TEDx speaker, a TEDx coach, and he serves as the support services director for the city of Sumter in South Carolina. My friend Lefford is a husband, a father, and a grandfather. Lefford, welcome, my friend.
Oh, wow.
Hi.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Erica, as many times as I hear your story and as close as we are, we're brothers and sisters, it still touches my heart to know what you went through. And it's just a beautiful thing. And we got so much in common. And most of the military people, they do. We have something that makes us who we are.
Yeah.
1% of the population in the United States have served in the military. And that 1%, there's a special bond between all of us. We are all brothers and sisters, bands of brothers and sisters. But you're special to me. And I appreciate being able to share the stage with you so we can help our other brothers and sisters transition well.
Yes, absolutely. And I do want to say that sometimes I share my stories, but I share my stories from a position of power, not a position of victimhood. I share them because that was my reality then, and I want people to see the transformation that can happen when someone is willing to take risk and have a desire, which is one of the Napoleon Hill's principles that you and I are going to talk about today. But for you, Lefford, again, can you share a bit of your military journey and also the biggest challenge that you faced when it came time to transition out of the Air Force?
It's interesting when you say you came in at 22. I came in at 17. Mm-hmm. I grew up in the 60s, 70s, and very early 80s in the South. I grew up in Georgia, and it was a tough political time. It was a tough time. The civil rights movement was going on. Dr. King was murdered. John F. Kennedy was murdered. I grew up in a little town where I tell folks we had the Klan walking through our place. The Ku Klux Klan, if people don't know who that is. And so I grew up very, very poor. My parents never graduated high school. My mother went to the 8th grade. My father went to the 6th grade. I had a very poor self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And the military was a way out for me that I thought, and I actually first wanted to join the Army, Erica. But we talked about Memorial Day, but on May 1st, 1970, my oldest brother, Calvin, gave the ultimate sacrifice. He gave his life in defense of our country. At 19 years old, my big brother died. And because of that, my parents were not going to allow me to join the Army, even though the Army was right down the road from me, because they couldn't bear losing another son to war. So for some reason, Erica, they thought that the Air Force was less dangerous. and they allowed me to go in. So imagine this, you're 17 years old, you're from the country, you grow up into this turbulent time, and then there was an opportunity for you to go do and be more. So I joined the Air Force. And so from 17 years old to 48 years old, 31 years I spent in the United States Air Force. Before I came into Air Force, I didn't know anything, didn't have anything. And so 31 years of this service, this family, this opportunity from me, from a little boy in Glenville, Georgia, to go from the bottom to the very top of military service, to be the top 1% of the top 1% of the enlisted corps. I was terrified to leave that, because I don't know about you, but when you have something and you're good at something, you want to hold on to that thing. And there was a barrier. We talk about paradigms all the time. One of my paradigms was that I cannot be good outside of this system.
Yeah.
That it's not me, it's me where I am. And the Air Force as a big family was the place that I was safe and I was secure and I was loved, appreciated, and I was good. So to leave all of that, to come out here to this big old world of what we call real life, was terrifying to me.
Lefford, it's interesting for you and I, that safety, that, you know, sometimes people say military safety, but I think people that are listening to us, when we say safety, I think they understand what we mean, because the worlds that we come from were not safe. And that sisterhood, brotherhood, that team, I was part of something. I belonged somewhere. I mattered to someone. Is so crucial. Now, let's be open and also understand that some individuals separate. They don't retire from the military. They separate from the military for multiple reasons. Sometimes it's because of poor leadership. Sometimes it's just not their thing. And sometimes it's because of medical reasons. So there's, again, just like I was telling Cleona, it's an individual journey in, but it is also an individual journey out. So for you, Lefford, did you ever, maybe not, but did you ever feel the damage of just going with the flow? Did you feel the damage of possibly just drifting a little and not really understanding what you desired once you were out of the military?
Once I was out, can I go back just a moment?
Of course.
This is something that I want to leave it. Everybody that joins the military doesn't come in escaping something. I saw a better world. I literally saw a better world. But there's such a thing. I could have done a lot of things, but there's a service. There's a desire to do something. So what I don't want anybody to ever think is that it is an escape route, because some people run from and some people run to. I think I ran to, and there's so much in it for me that I love the military. I love the Air Force. It's not like, there's a part of it was that it was my savior in a way, but it's also, there's a passion and a love for some of the things I got to do, Erica. It's not fair. I should have paid them versus them paying me to do some of the things that I got to do. So let's go back to the drift. There's many times during my military career that I drifted. And when we talk about desire is that thing where you know what you want, right? You know what you want. I was drifting in a successful way. And some people may say, what in the world are you talking about? I lost my wife and my son because what I was going for wasn't truly what I was desiring. Let me explain. I found myself working very hard I used to do this thing where I would work 6 days, I would have 3 days off. And my work then was going out into the field. I worked nuclear weapons. So I would go out into the field for 6 days. And I had a young wife and a young child who was at home while I was out there doing the thing, learning and growing. I would come back and I would have my first day off. I would spend trying to get better at work, fixing and getting ready. And so what I was doing was I was doing the right things, but I was drifting away from my purpose of being a husband and a father and taking care of my family also. And so I put all of my eggs in the military, and I did not pay attention, focus, and take care of my family. And my wife actually came to me, Erica, and said, "You seem to love the Air Force more than you love us." And I ignored her. I blew her off. I didn't ignore her in the way that you might be thinking. I was like, I just worked harder to be better at the military so I can have some time later. And so I focused on that. And so I lost my way and ultimately lost my wife and my son. Mm-hmm. So I did drift. And then after that happened, then I went into the woe is me. Of course that happens to me. I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of having somebody in my life. No matter what I try to do, I'm going to fail. It's going to mess up. And so then I found myself in this negative downward spiral. There's a reason they call it a drain. I was flushing my life and my career down the drain, and I was literally drifting.
Yeah.
And I almost lost, I very nearly lost myself as I lost my way.
Thank you for sharing that, Lifford. Everyone, these 3 days are about having real conversations and about us showcasing that it's not, hey, look at us now. It's not about that. It's about talking about the journey. Lifford, are you ready to go back to the PowerPoint a little bit? What I want to do is explore with you a little bit of the limiting paradigms that we might have. And you mentioned some of them already. So when it comes to paradigms, it is important to acknowledge that the structured environment and culture within the military leads to the formation of specific limiting beliefs or old paradigms. For some, again, we're all uniquely made, but for some, this could mean internalizing beliefs like success outside of the military is unattainable. And Lifford touched on that a little bit. Civilian life will be a challenging adjustment. And we also sometimes think that our skills and experiences are not relevant to the workforce. So Lifford, in your opinion, how can someone use the principle of desire to break free from those negative beliefs like the ones that I mentioned, but there's so many more?
Oh, there's so many more. There's the us and them. Mm-hmm. There's a black and white one way to do. There's so that you have to do all this stuff. There's a lot. And so what I say about how we can use desire to break these limiting beliefs is that you can decide what it is that you want.
We have a choice.
Yes, what you want. And it's like what you want, what your family wants, what your community. But there's a thing that you can use. And once you figure out what it is that you and again, that it is okay to put yourself and your family first. Mm-hmm. See, let's go back to what you said, the core values. Integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all that we do.
Yes. At
Integrity
least for the
first.
Air Force, yeah.
Yeah, and then, but all the other ones are very similar.
Mhm.
God, core, family last in the Marine Corps. Everyone has something where you're putting yourself last and
Yes.
not understanding. It wasn't said to us that it is service before self. Does not say that you don't focus on self some. I love the Pledge of Allegiance. I know we got people from all over the world, but I love the Pledge of Allegiance. The cool thing about the Pledge of Allegiance is that it starts with I and it ends with all. And if you're not, as a person, taking care of you first, you cannot take care of others. It says in the Holy Scriptures, it says that love thy neighbor as thyself.
Mm.
If you don't love self, how can you love your neighbor? Or if you don't love you, and if you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you're going to treat your neighbor poorly, right? So understand what you want. I look at it this way, guys. What do you want as an individual? What do you want as a family, if you have one? And then what do you want as a community? And you have to take a look at that and then put everything into going for the thing that you want. Erica, a paradigm that I had as a chief master sergeant, I was always on swivel and on point to serve. That was always. And I was, whatever the mission that somebody gave me, I was going to live with that mission. Whether I wanted to or not, the answer was yes, sir. May I have another? Yes, ma'am. May I have another? And so it became really difficult for me to put me and my family first. And that's a paradigm that will destroy you. You have to take care of yourself as you take care of other people. That is something that I had to buy into, because that is still a very difficult one for me.
Yeah, and that's something that the family also buys into, Lefford.
Yes.
That they know somehow they just assimilate to taking a supportive role. So anytime there's an assignment, anytime that and the mission calls, the family quietly says, okay, until they don't, like your wife. Yeah. But something that did help me and might help people in the audience is that we need to, as we're looking at that desire, we need to evaluate our beliefs. And by that, let me just give you a quick example is, do we mistrust the unknown? Is that a belief, right? Because that bubble is real. And not until you're outside of that, you might think, I got this. I got this. Mm-hmm. And not until you're outside the bubble, you're like, oh, this is not feeling nice. So do you mistrust the unknown? What is, like you said, Lefford, what is your self-image? And then the other side of the coin is, what is the image that you have of others in this journey of moving forward? Because we need to challenge our assumptions. And the assumptions is, how many times do we say, not for me, thank you? Or how many times, I can't because, and we fill in the blank with the perfect excuse. Yeah, we need to embrace new possibilities. Next slide, please. Now, when it comes to mindset, everyone, embracing the essence of the Napoleon Hill principles for me was crucial when shifting from military life. It wasn't just a belief that my personal abilities and my intelligence could be developed someplace else, but also that I needed to change my perspective and see challenges, new challenges, as opportunities for growth and not threats that would pull me back to the center of that comfort zone. So what are your thoughts, Lefford, on the statement that we must believe in our abilities and have a desire, not just a desire, but a burning desire to find success outside of the military?
Well, Erica, again, I go back to the whole thing about it's hard to have a burning desire for something when you don't have a desire first. So my thoughts are to figure out the thing that you want and then be willing to go all in. Because, and I'll come from an enlisted perspective, it was very difficult for me when I left the military to take, and even as a command chief, there was always somebody that I was supporting and taking care of, and that person's mindset was the thing. So one of the mindsets that I had was that as an enlisted person, I was second. Even again, guys, top 1% of the top 1%, but there was always, Erica, a commander. There was always an officer. There was always somebody in the front, and I didn't want to outshine the sun. Sometimes something needed to be said, and literally my job was to say it, but I would pull the boss aside and be like, sir, this, and that, this, and that, versus saying what needed to be said. And again, it's this whole, it was a mindset. It was a mind shift that you have something to say. And it's not only is it your responsibility, it's your right.
Yes.
That I was, again, you are not your uniform. I'm going to say that again.
Say it again, please.
You are not your uniform. And it could be, and that could be a positive and a negative. From the negative side, from the negative side, I remember going back to Shaw Air Force Base the day after I retired, and I was disgusted. They had the nerve to continue to fly airplanes after I'd gone.
How dare they?
How dare they? And so the negative side is that for some reason I thought that, it can't go on without me, and that they're not doing it the same way, and they shouldn't, they couldn't, that. The other part was that who am I now when I take it off? Am I not worthy? Is it the stripes? Because I'll be honest, the stripes look good and felt good. There's something about that star. There's something about that when you walk out there, everybody can see who you are and what you're wearing represented. But when you gave that away, you're just naked to the world and you ain't nobody.
Yeah, you go back to, you have all your skills, you have your knowledge, but I get it. Oh my goodness. I get where do I fit in? Where do I fit again? Because, and you and I have talked about this many times, Lefford. Yes, the people, individuals that, at least in the United States, 1% of the population serves, yeah? That means that when we transition out, we are assimilating, we're coming out to the 99%. And sometimes if we don't have the maturity or the mindset or the growth, we think that they're going to get us, that they're going to understand us, that they're going to speak the same language. And we don't speak their language and they don't, but they're the 99%. So we need to grow. And to grow, everyone, it requires welcoming change. It requires taking risk. To grow requires making mistakes. And to grow requires to showcase grace to ourselves. Yeah.
Erica, in our core, it says, the Airman's Creed, I will not falter, I will not fail. I said that for 15 years.
I did too.
I will not falter, I will not fail.
Yeah.
That mindset is a fixed mindset. You can't grow when you're not willing to do anything that will make you fail.
Agree. Next slide. Go ahead, Lefford.
So when you find yourself in that situation, what do you do to not fail? You decide, I'm not going to do anything except get in this box and just stay there and protect ground. And so that was something that I had to switch my mindset to say, if it's worth winning is worth failing at.
Mm. Absolutely. No, absolutely. And I moved to the next slide, Leffert, because you were talking about who do we surround ourselves with, right? Who are we risking? So this is transition. And I know that this is a military conversation, but a transition is a transition. And so what I'm going to say here is that transition applies to all of us. So this is a little formula, right? Not homework, just things for you to think about, but find an environment that can help you move forward. Control your mental attitude. Keep your mind open. Man, that's hard. Believe that you can succeed. Truly know what you want. Truly know what you desire. Because when it comes to creating, Leffert, a safe and supporting environment out of the military, what does that, what does that look like to you?
You've heard the statement that you're the average of the 5 people that you spend most time with.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we do very well in the military is have a group of people that you can connect with, so you can go forward, because you're only as strong as the weakest link. So what I do when I'm talking about building community support is I'm looking for people that are like-minded, not like thinking, but like-minded. I don't want everybody to be groupthink, but just like-minded. And I found that when I surround myself around people that's been there, done that are doing the things that I want to do, being the people that I want to be, that I have been, it has blessed me mightily.
Mm-hmm.
And I can also bless others. For people that's been in the military, whether you've been in the military for 2 weeks or 40 years, I think we have a set of skills and we have a way of seeing the world that can be helpful. And
Yes.
we know as a team, as a mastermind, that we can help each other. And so it's my support system, Napoleon Hill Foundation, Napoleon Hill Institute, the City of Sumter, Toastmasters, the American Legion. I find these groups of people that have something that I need, where I'm not the smartest one in the group, that I can get in where I fit in and help and work and grow and support. It is the reason that I do what I do now. You see me in front of the Sumter Fire Department. I'm here actually doing some training for the City of Sumter right now. But this group of people are people that love each other and lifting each other up. And so we grow off of each other. So I think finding a good community of support is necessary.
Agree.
To go forth.
Absolutely agree. Now, can we move to the next slide, please? Leffert, we're about 10 minutes out from closing the 60 minutes. I can't believe an hour just went by.
Yeah.
But we can cover this, and then we can stop the PowerPoint and just go back to the main room and see if there's any questions or any final thoughts from you and I. But for here, moving forward, I would like to just share with everyone that after retiring from the Air Force, one of the things, and I'm hesitating at saying it, but one of the things that helped me was to find civilian mentors. Now I, not fully disconnect from my brothers and sisters, but find a different perspective. Find someone outside of your comfort zone. Find and understand different people. That allowed me to expand. That allowed me to take little baby steps and take risks. That's possible. That's possible. That's possible. And be able to see how much bigger the world is outside of the uniform. But any thoughts about this, Leffert? And then we can bring the slides down, please.
Erica, I'll tell you, I agree, and I would tell. No, I really do. I would say don't wait till you get out of the military.
Yeah.
Start it now. That was, I was unconscious competent because I'm an athlete. I did some things in the community. That is the thing. That was my saving grace. I love people. I'm a friendly person. I get along with people. And so getting members, getting people out, the John Maxwell's, the Jack Canfield's, the Napoleon Hill stuff, all of that out while I was in the military helped the transition. It wasn't perfect, but it was good. And if I could tell anybody anything, if you're in still, start reaching out before you get out. I went to church on base. I should have went to church downtown. There's so many things but I did a lot of good things. So that saved me. And hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about that later, but you're right. But just if you're already out, you're already out. But if you're transitioning, start the process of connecting people outside of your circle as soon as possible.
Yes. And it's interesting if you're out and you have not stayed connected with a military body of some sort, I would say connect back to that amazing family, because the minute you go back, you can breathe and you go, they get me, right? And if you're still you and I have been in different platforms helping transitioning military members transition out, and they're still in, right? Some are 6 months from, and some are 3 years from. And the advice is still the same. Start looking at the perspectives. Start connecting. Start right now doing things that not separate you, but other things where you can start building a foundation that is solid. So when the train leaves, as it will, right, Lefford? The bus will leave.
Yep.
And sometimes we'll have bags, and sometimes we're like, what just happened to us? But the machine keeps going. The machine keeps going.
And that's how we want it to.
And that's how the machine is made. Remember, like, hey, what do you mean you're still flying planes? Hey, what do you mean someone's in my office? Hey, what do you mean they're doing a good job?
Erica, I went to a graduation for Airman Leadership School graduation, and as the guest speaker. And they do, and the command chief of the 20th Fighter Wing, they said another dude's name. My heart sank. I'm just the guest speaker. It literally sank. So I shouldn't tell all my dirty little secrets, but that was a thing. It was rough.
Yeah. So my advice to me, I'm preaching to myself, is that here at the Napoleon Hill Institute, we are here to help you with additional support and answer any of your questions. I ask you to please, look at me, I'm begging, please find a credible military organization where you can connect. And Lefford and I are here to continue with your journey. And also, please know something that's extremely important. You're not alone.
Amen.
You're not alone. Talk to us. Talk to the person that invited you to this room. I just had a good friend of mine, also a command chief, AFRC. So for not Air Force, she was a major command chief. She had the same position that I held, but maybe 2 individuals ahead of me, maybe 3. She was a legacy. 2 weeks ago, she committed suicide. I mean, did I say 2 years ago? No.
2 weeks.
2 weeks ago, I got the news that she committed suicide. A lot of things, a lot of reasons. But one was that she did not transition well out of that position. So, Lefford, we have 4 minutes, and I don't want to leave this room without you giving us the last word so we can close the room.
Yeah, Frank, you're not alone. Well, this is one of the things I'll say, and it may be a little controversial. A lot of people make the comfort zone a bad place. When you get out of your comfort zone, you don't stay out of your comfort zone. You get out, you expand out, you come back to a safe space, and then you try to expand your comfort zone. We are military. We served a lot of years. You're going to talk to several other people who have spent time in the military. We are your brothers and sisters in arms that have gone before, and we're here to help, to talk, to communicate, to point you in the right direction. This is an opportunity so you can see somebody who's already done it, can kick around for ideas, understanding this personal growth process. We are always into personal growth and development. That is what you as a military member or family of a military member have done. So you're coming to a different place, and we're going to be comfortable together, and we're going to grow together, because I'm going to be selfish, Erica. You might need me, but I need you also. And it has saved my life on many occasions. And I'm not being philosophical, but it has literally saved my life on many occasions to look to my left, look to my right, look up or look back and know somebody that's got me. And this is a place where we got you. And I need you as much as you need me. So anything I can do, I'm here. I love you. I appreciate you. And you 1%ers, you deserve all that this life's got. And you're not alone, and there's a place for you here.
Thank you, Lefford. I would say, please do not neglect your greatness. Do not neglect your uniqueness. There are no impossibilities. Tomorrow we'll talk about imagination. But please take care of you. Take care of you first, and everything else will fall into place. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Lefford, I love you. Thank you for being my brother. And big hug from California to the East Coast.
Awesome. Love you too, sis. Appreciate you. God bless you guys. Dive in.
Imagine desire as the burning heart of a majestic locomotive. This metaphorical engine relies on the relentless fire of desire to journey forward. In the heart of the locomotive, desire acts as the fuel that feeds its fiery furnace. With each breath, it generates the energy and intensity needed to propel the engine and its aspirations. When desire is intense and well-defined, it becomes a magnetic force that attracts opportunities, resources, and solutions. Desire is the unwavering force that keeps us moving, even through the most challenging terrains of life. Yet, much like the train's need for a continuous supply of fuel, desire demands consistency. It's not a fleeting spark, but a sustained flame that maintains our course. And in the end, desire acts as our compass, pointing us unwaveringly toward the realization of our goals and dreams, the ultimate destination where the fires of ambition burn the brightest.